Good to go.
All right, good evening and welcome to the May 17th, 2021 meeting of the City of Charleston's Design Review Board. My name is Erica Chase, the board's chairperson. The members of the board with us tonight, we have a full house. We have Jeff Johnson, Dina Fliolio, Aaron Stevens, Andy Smith, Michelle Smith, and Kristen Krause. Members of city staff with us tonight are David Meeks, Tori Parrish, and Andrea DeRungs. We do have one agenda item that has been deferred or has been pulled by the applicant. That is item number 2, 829 St. Andrews Boulevard. If those members of the public that were here to comment on it, if you could just hold on for a couple of moments once I get to a few comments in this administrative item, I would like to comment on some things. Michelle Smith, I guess that's no longer applicable. The order of the meeting will be as follows. David will give a project overview for new projects. The applicant team will then have 10 minutes for their project presentation. If you need time beyond 10 minutes, please let us know at the beginning of your presentation. We will then open it up for board questions and then the public comment period. During the public comment period, please state your name for the record. Then David will give staff recommendations, and then the applicant team may have 5 minutes to clarify any or respond to any of the public comments or city staff comments. We will then have board discussion, a motion, and a vote. I do want to touch on the public comments and the letters that we received for item number 2. David, will those automatically translate to the next meeting that they attend, or do those need to be resubmitted?
I'm sorry, did you say the staff comments?
No, the public comments, the letters that we received for item number 2.
We'll hold on to everything for the next meeting.
Okay. And if I could just, emphasize to pay attention to public notices for when the item comes back for those of you that were registered to speak. And also please make sure to register by noon. We had one member of the public register after 12 o'clock today, and just by the city's requirements, we would not have allowed you to speak, unfortunately. So please be diligent when signing up for the public comment period.
Hey, Erica,
Sure.
I was just going to say that I'm pretty sure that 829 St. Andrews will be submitting on Wednesday for the next DRB meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you. We do not have any public comments or letters to be read or any members registered to speak for number 1. So I'll skip through the remaining public comment items. With regards to our virtual meeting protocol, David will be controlling the PowerPoint presentation, which includes everything submitted by the applicant by the deadline in accordance with submittal requirements. So please ask David to advance the slides during your presentation. Applicants, staff, and board members are required to give their name whenever speaking. The video and microphones have been disabled for all attendees. Attendees will only be given the capabilities to speak when they are called on during the public comment period. The chat and the Q&A functions have been disabled for everyone. Again, I'll skip through the public comment items, and if you could go to the next slide, David, thanks. Dave will be issuing meeting results, including staff comments and board motions to the applicant following the meeting. And the results will also be posted on the city website shown on the screen. And for additional contact information, there is an email address and the board's website for further information. And I do want to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded. So with that, we will get started with item number 1, 1964 Maybank Highway. And I
have a little bit of context.
Sorry, there we go. Requesting conceptual approval for the construction of a 1-story garage and retail space adjoining an existing retail building.
So a little bit of context showing where the project is. 1964 Maybank. You can see the red thumbtack. Little closer view. And so the addition sits pretty far back from Maybank. You can see where it is here. And then this is the view from Maybank, and the circle is where the new addition will sit. So it is pretty far back. And then a little closer view. The arrow is showing where the new addition is going to go. And then this building will be cleaned up and renovated a little bit as well, painted and so forth. Closer view. So the new addition will sit right here. And with that, I'll turn it over to the applicant. I didn't see the name of, Blaine, are you on here? Or Hank? I let somebody called GDA, I assume that's Gulf D'Antonio, in, but I don't see the names of either Hank D'Antonio or Blaine Hammerfield. Hammerlund.
Yes, this is Hank D'Antonio.
Okay, good.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Also, Vince Satilli from Earth Sources available and would be able to talk about specifics on the site if you have specific questions about that. But we'll go through quickly. Once you go to the next slide, or go to number, let's go to number 4. That's the site plan. Go one more. Okay. So Maybank Highway is down on the bottom of the page here, and you can see how far back it's. The project's about 300 feet back from the highway, and it's tucked behind part of the existing shopping center, which is out front of the project. And so the garage kind of tucks around the back side, and this is a garage, a private garage. It's not for servicing any commercial vehicles or any of that kind of thing. So it's more of a storage facility for the owner. And the two pieces in the front there that you see, that could be one or possibly two retail functions in the front. And they are adjacent to the laundromat, which is just to the left. There'll be improvements to the parking area. There's some paving improvements and trees and other things which are on another plan, which we can talk about if you like. Does anybody have any questions specifically about that, or should we just keep on going?
Just keep on going and we'll save questions at the end.
Okay. All right. Let's go then to the floor plan, which is the item 6 there. You can see that this is a project with about 2,850 square feet plus or minus for the tenants. You see 1 and 2 with the retail up front. There's a covered patio area of about 1,200 square feet to the right of that you see. There is a utility line that cuts diagonal through this kind of corner where the covered patio is. That will remain an easement in there. And the garage is, then you can see, is behind. And it has access from the north side and from the west side for a garage and man doors to get access there, which is behind the laundromat and really is is not visible from the highway or any public really right of ways in that area. Let's go to the next slide. We went through previously, you saw the kind of existing conditions there. Next. Let's go to, so slide 7. Okay, so this is the elevation of the existing laundromat on the left. And as far as that goes, we're sort of just dressing it up some with paint and fixing up the, there's a globe up there that exists, which is kind of a unique, looks like a cross between a satellite and a globe. And we're gonna try to maintain and fix that element that's been on the building. I mean, I think this, I don't know the exact date when this building was built, but certainly it's an interesting element and we decided to try to preserve it. And then the new piece of the project to the right, you can see the new retail section that has a similar sort of corrugated looking facade on the canopy part. And then there's an overhanging piece that's, so that piece sets back from where the original canopy was, but the overhang that you see on the top, sort of the roof element that projects over and creates the entrance or the side porch area, if you will, extends out to about the same plane as that canopy where the laundromat is. Next. You can see the east side is looking back towards the opening that's on the retail area where the patio is. And then the other sections are the garage, which is a precast concrete panel, tilt-up panel that will be painted. We're still working on some colors and those kind of things, which we'll present, when we present the final. But it basically is a fairly neutral piece. And it's, as said before, it's really not visible from the street. Yeah, the height is roughly 22 feet of all these elements. And that is dependent upon the structure, which is being designed as we speak here. It's starting to be designed in terms of the height of the structure we have for the spans that we need. So that may be adjusted a little bit one way or the other, but we don't expect it to be much taller than what this dimension shows right now, although it could a little bit. Next slide. And again, a little bit of perspective on the top. You can see, looking as you approach the building from Maybank Highway through the parking lot. What's not shown here is the trees and so forth that would be in these landscape beds that are in the parking lots. Next. Again, the other two sides you've already seen. Next. And here are some perspectives that you can see kind of looking at the corner of the new building, the southeast view, number 3, and looking from sort of the laundromat side, looking back on the southwest view. And then the upper ones are, showing more of the garage element and the back of the existing laundromat building on the northwest view. So with that, I'd be happy to entertain any questions you might have and try to answer those.
Thanks, Hank. I had one. It wasn't very clear on the site plan where additional paving would be happening and access to the garage.
Okay, so okay. I think Vince, are you on the line?
I did not. I thought maybe you were saying Vince was with you, but I don't see him on the list.
Okay. Maybe you didn't submit to the call to have access, but I'll try to answer that, Erica. Basically, the improvements are up in the part closest to the building. So I don't think they can see you there. Yeah, they can't see you, Blaine, but basically there, and in the center parking area there, you can see the island in the middle, and then there's trees in those islands that I think are shown on another plan.
The next
and the drive from the back to the garage comes from the adjacent property, which is this property owner owns both pieces, and this piece on the left is a sort of a grassy field area that won't be used very much, but it provides access from that side. So there's not any pavement currently shown from there. The drive basically pretty much comes from the back side, and that will be paved into the back, up to the building. And there is some landscaping along there. As you can see, there's some shrubbery and hedges along that side between this property and the adjacent owner's property.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe this is more of a question for staff. Is that on I guess, Hank, is that on a separate parcel, the access?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Will there need to be, I guess, and this is more probably a TRC city question, just the easements between the two, even though the property owner currently owns both parcels, but some kind of easement in place between the two, since that's the only place that the garage can be accessed.
Well, the garage can be accessed from the west also, which is part of this parcel that wraps around the back of back of the laundromat. So if ever that property were to be sold or split off, I mean, the owner owns both properties, owns the piece to the north and owns the piece that this project is on. So therefore, there's a door there on the left side that would provide access if there was ever, a closure of that north entrance. But that's not anticipated at this point, but it does give you that option.
Got it. And then my last question was if there was any, I know it's such a small, new impervious area, if you had any stormwater requirements and how those were being handled.
I think they're being handled with existing swales and that kind of thing. I think this has been through some TRC. So unfortunately, I didn't attend those TRC meetings, so I'm not sure if that was an issue. I don't know if anybody else like you said, has access there. I believe the owner might be on the line. I'm not sure you have access for him to speak, but he may know.
This is Eddie Buck. Can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
All right, great. To pick up and answer a few of those questions, in the rear of the property, there'll be a special, I think it's a California rain garden that's added along the rear buffer that will pick up the downspouts from the roof to accommodate the additional stormwater that's required. And there was a reduced buffer and all that's already been granted along the rear of the property to accommodate this project, so that I have access from my home to the back of the garage. And then the anticipation is if something were to ever happen, that's why there's a passage door and a roll-up door on, I guess, I'm not sure which direction that is, but on the left side of the building, even though there's no improvements to the grass field contemplated at this time.
Okay, thank you. Those were all my questions. Did anyone else have questions? With none, we do not have any members of the public registered to speak, nor did we receive any letters or emails for this project. So David, if you could go through staff recommendations, please.
Sure. Thank you, Erica. So staff comment number one, height scale mass of the new addition is in keeping with the existing building and surrounding buildings. Staff supports the architectural direction. Number two, staff noticed where the bioswales are proposed to the north of the new addition. There appears to be thick existing vegetation in Google Street View, but we were informed that the brush has already been cleared to the north, joining the property line. And just wanted the applicant to confirm that. And also staff comment number three, Mr. Buck has already addressed this. There will be no new paving from the side street to the garage door on the west. So staff comment number four, this is to be completed. The rest of these are for preliminary review, to be completed by preliminary review. The landscape plan could be strengthened, enhanced, or added to by preliminary review. Number five, consider ground cover or shrubs in the parking lot islands under the trees. Number six, consider replacing the gravel in the bioswale with a more organic material that will inhibit the growth of the soft rush. Number seven, thicken the buffer at the north property line with more plantings on the property line, since so much existing vegetation was removed, and they're only specifying some soft rush right now. Number eight, concentrate more plantings around the south side of the building and patio. Add screening with a landscape on the east side of the patio. Include a shade tree if possible. I think they were showing some landscaping over on the east side of the new addition. I was suggesting maybe that come out because you can't even see it. I don't think it's really serving the purpose. Let me show you where I'm talking about. I was talking about these. Can you see where I'm pointing? with my cursor.
Yes.
So these shrubs along this side of the building, they're blocked by this building. You really can't even see it. And I don't think they serve any purpose. I was suggesting maybe they focus the planting more on the front side of the building or on the side facing the street. Number 9, consider a full or partial screen or barricade between the parking spaces and the patio. Consider a vegetative screen. Number 10, regarding the south elevation, for the large blank wall at the outdoor seating, study the use of vine plantings to grow up the wall or possibly a mural. Number 11, the pervious pavers shown on sheet C200 should also be shown on all the proposed site plans, including the landscape plan. Number 12, to avoid any confusion or questions, please update the drawings for clarity and consistency. Orient the landscape plan with north up to be consistent with the other site plans, and orient all the site plans consistently with north up as well. Label everything that is proposed on the site plans. For example, the outdoor patio is not labeled on the site plan. And there's also an element on the north side of the patio. I don't know what this is here, if it's a planter or a ramp, but it's not labeled. So if the applicant could please label that and everything else on the site plan. Let's see. Please label the elements on the north side of the patio. Oh, I said that. Label any existing fencing to remain. Show and label the canopy roof edge with a dashed line to make its location more clear. Clarify the graphics for the table and chairs on the patio. They were unclear. I'm not sure what's going on there. Delineate between existing lawn and new driveway to the garage. Oh, I'm sorry that there is going to be no driveway to the garage, so you can scratch that. Please correct the landscape plan and plant list to consistently reference. There's a plant symbol called SERC on the plant, on the landscape plan, but it's called CERC on the plant list. That could just be corrected, but we do recommend conceptual approval. Erica, it looks like maybe you're frozen on the screen. I can't, wait, can you hear me? Uh-oh, we lost Erica. I think she's having problems. I was disconnected. Oh, she's logging back in now. She got disconnected.
Sorry about that. I got booted out for a second.
Oh, no problem. I thought you were just sitting there silently for a while. Your screen was frozen.
Did you finish staff comments, David?
I did, and we
Okay, great.
recommend conceptual approval.
Thank you. Hank or Eddie, did you have any responses or clarifications to the staff comments?
The only thing I guess I want to add is on the north side where we have the rainforest swale. Just to the north of there on my residential property, there's an extremely heavy landscape buffer that separates the two parcels.
Okay,
It's
good.
currently in place.
Erica, could I ask you to maybe mention that agenda item 2 is deferred again, because I see some people maybe joined us after you announced that.
Sure. To reiterate what we discussed at the onset of our meeting, agenda item number 2, 829 St. Andrews Boulevard, was pulled by the applicant from the agenda. We believe they'll be resubmitting for our next meeting, which would be the first meeting in June. For members of the public that submitted letters or emails, we'll carry those over to the next meeting. But for any members of the public that register to speak, you will have to re-register. Please be cognizant of the noon deadline that will be posted, and make sure that you submit to register before that noon deadline. Thanks, David. Sorry to interrupt. So with that, we will now be in board discussion. Unless Hank or Mr. Buck, you had anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Okay. So board discussion and or a motion.
This is Dino's. First of all, it's a very thoughtful addition. And Hank, I'm delighted to see the globe staying. It is truly a landmark in James Island, and but I like the manner in which the addition is addressed to the existing. I know that existing building has been there for quite a long time, and just the feel of the floating canopy and the recess of the new addition and the manner that it's dealing with the backdrop of the garage is really very nice. I do also appreciate the architect's efforts on breaking the massing of the building by the breaks in the facade as well, and respecting the height of the garage doors and, with the height of the passage doors as well. I guess may I ask the applicant one question, Madam Chair?
Sure. Sure, go ahead.
You know that was coming.
Of course.
Is there a restaurant confirmed for the area, or with the indication of the canopies and the chairs out to the east side?
There's nothing confirmed at this point, but there is some discussions and consideration that it certainly lends itself for a patio and some type cafe type use.
Okay, very good. The movies, the drive-through movies during the pandemic, is there still possible access for that from the other side, I guess?
I don't believe that'll work. That was something that was kind of agreed to between us and the theater, kind of at the last moment to try to help them get through the tough times. And there's limited space back there now and a limited number of cars.
Gotcha.
So
that was more of a curiosity question than anything else. That's all I have, I think. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
This is Andy. Overall, I agree with basically staff's comments. I do want to reiterate the comments about the layout of the plans. It was kind of confusing, especially in the site and landscape plans, for things to be flopping around and be in a different direction. I do agree with all the staff's comments regarding the planting. Be very careful of direction y'all are talking about with the vines or the mural. Vines tend to be a long-term or if at all solution. So you may want to look with the environment, you may want to look into a mural. The only other comment I have is I saw that the plant that was being referenced for you to check the symbol was saw palmetto, and I just want, as always, just be very careful. That looks like it's at the top of the bioswale, but if there is the intent to have people moving around those saw palmettos, maybe look at a different plant in that situation. But other than that, I'm supporting the project.
Is there a motion or any other comments?
I would be more than happy to move for conceptual approval. This is Dino's. It sounded like all the staff comments were addressed. Am I correct? Was I understanding that correctly? David, I'm sorry.
I don't think they were all addressed. The driveway.
I'm talking about just for conceptual. I mean,
Oh,
we don't
yeah.
address, yeah,
Sorry.
just, we don't address the preliminary at this point. Is that, am I correct in that?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, so I would move for conceptual approval. Andy, did you have issues that you wanted to address as board notes?
I think that, most of those were in this
Preliminary?
for the preliminary. So just take mine as additions to those preliminary notes.
Okay. Well, in that case, I move for conceptual approval and ask the applicant to please note the comments by staff for the next submittal of preliminary approval.
Thanks, Dinos. We have a motion for conceptual approval. Is there a second?
This is Andy. I'll second.
Thanks, Andy. I will now call roll. Kristen,
Yes, in favor.
Aaron,
Yes, in favor.
Michelle,
Yes, in favor.
Jeff,
Yes, in favor. Thank you.
and then I am also yes in favor. Thank you very much. We will now move on to agenda item number 3, which is the approval of minutes from the May 3rd, 2021 meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
This is
Dina?
Thank you, Dinos. Is there a second?
I will
Andy. I'll
second.
second.
Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah.
Andy with the second. I'll now call roll. Kristen,
Yes, in favor.
Aaron,
Yes, in favor.
Michelle,
Yes, in favor.
Jeff,
Yes.
thank
In
you.
favor.
And I am also in favor. And we are through.
DRB final.
Sorry. Oh, this is theirs, isn't it? Yeah, this is there. Shit, we just.
Hank, you're still talking in the meeting if you want to mute yourself.
Okay, sorry. I was
That's
just trying
okay.
I was trying to leave.
You are welcome to leave. Go ahead. We are not
Thank you
done.
very
much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Barr.
Thank you.
Well,
And Aaron, good luck.
yeah,
Thank
best-
you,
Yes,
Lord. Yeah, good luck,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Good luck
Yeah,
on
Aaron.
Thursday.
Have a wonderful baby.
I'll do my best.
Big baby moment.
I'll send y'all a picture.
Yes,
Looking
please do.
forward to it.
Please do.
Yes.
Bye, y'all.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Pleasure.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.